Hi, this is Russell Lockhart, and welcome to Real Perspective. Today, we're going to look at the movie called The Hill.
The Hill.
The Hill.
The Hill. Now, this isn't a horror movie.
Not a horror movie. Not
Okay.
Silent Hill. Not The Eyes Have Heels. The Hill. It's actually a Christian movie, but without being a Christian movie. It's got some Christian values, but it's not a Christian-backed movie.
So you can be a Christian movie without being a Christian.
Maybe. I mean, I know there's others that do that.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm
but,
just messing with you.
But you don't. I don't. I'm not saying none of the people are Christians, but it's got a little language in it. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay. All right. All righty, folks. What we're going to do is we're going to show you the trailer first, as we always do. So take a listen right now.
You can't play baseball.
When I swing that bat, I ain't crippled no more. Tie game, bottom of the ninth. At bat, Ricky Hill.
Oh my gosh! What did you do? Let's go!
Ricky, I've seen you out there swinging that stick, even when you're suffering pain. But you can't play baseball. You're going to get ridiculed, and you're going to wind up with an injury that you'll never get over. God's going to give you a higher calling.
But all I want to do is play. When I swing that bat, I ain't crippled no more.
And gone, senior Ricky Hill.
He did 4 homers in one game.
Son, you might be better, but you are not healed.
Your bones are rapidly depleting. It'll be a miracle if you ever walk again.
You seen this? Major League trials.
You're going to paralyze him. I don't need you filling him full of false hope. He's my son. Ricky, baseball had to end eventually. Time to figure out what you're going to do with the rest of your life.
First time you ever talked to me like a man is to tell me to forget the only thing I ever loved.
What has gotten into you?
He's special.
They said he will never walk, and he ran. How many miracles do you need?
You're planning to join the elite.
I'm one of the best hitters you're ever going to see.
A bad leg could cost a team wins and money.
It's all stacked against me.
If you don't try, you're gonna die inside. I want my dreamer back.
All your hopes,
I cannot do this alone.
dreams,
It's your time, Ricky!
determination, and sacrifices have come down to this.
Okay. Well, that looks like a real inspirational trailer.
Absolutely, it's right up there with Rudy and Remember the Titans and all of those other movies. It's very inspirational and true. It is a true story. In researching this movie, one of the things I found out that was really interesting to me is I'm watching the movie and I'm going, wow, that seems a little far-fetched.
Okay.
That seems a little far-fetched. I don't know about that, but almost everything in there they showed was true. Now, the only thing that I saw that they said was loosely based
Okay.
was his girlfriend. They said, now, it is based on his girlfriend, who became his wife later.
Okay.
But they did a Hollywood up type of thing just to make it a little bit more dramatic. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing they did, which I found amazing. Because, I mean, you see these things in there. Now, let me go beginning of this. The movie is a true story about Ricky Hill. In the 50s and 60s, in the 50s, he was born. He had a degenerative spinal disorder. Okay? Way he described it is when he was born, his legs were like wrapped around his body and together. Okay?
Okay.
Then he said, that's not the worst part. Everything was just like not working the way it was supposed to do. My spine was messed up. Everything. He was missing a disc in his spine.
Okay.
So all of this, they put him in braces. Back in the 50s, that's what they did automatically. They were trying to straighten out his legs. They told him, you will never walk without braces. And he did. He went beyond that. He wanted to be a baseball player, professional baseball player. He wanted to be up there in the majors. One of the things that was just amazing to me, and again, I thought, surely this didn't really happen, and it did. He spent 16 hours a day outside playing, taking a stick, like a branch, a stick and a rock, and hitting it, and got it where he was like hitting it like a baseball, like way over, like it'd be a home run type of thing.
All right.
Amazing stuff. One of the other things I found out that was interesting is that Dennis Quaid, who is one of the stars of the movie, he plays Ricky's dad. Now, Ricky's dad was a small town pastor, and he basically didn't want to see his sons being hurt. He didn't want to see him hurt, like going out there and people making fun of him, because at the time, like a lot of kids do, he got made fun of.
Yes.
One of the guys kept calling him Robot Boy. Stuff like that. They were just mean. You know how kids are like that. They're going to do that. Well, the dad didn't want to see him get hurt. He didn't want to have him go out in the majors just to have people make fun of him. So he was squashing his dream. Thought he was doing the right thing.
Okay.
But he really wasn't. But it's true to life. That's what parents sometimes will do, that to try to save their kids from embarrassment or hurt or ridicule.
Yeah.
So one of the things I thought was interesting is when Dennis Quaid first started the movie and read the script, he said, "And you're saying this is true?" And the director said, "Yes, absolutely, every bit of it.
It's true.
Every bit of it's true." And he said, "You're kidding me. Some of this stuff doesn't seem like it would happen." He said, "Absolutely, every bit of it happened." So they actually had Ricky Hill talking to them and telling them the different stories.
Wow.
So it's really cool.
So they actually had the real Ricky Hill there talking to them?
Yeah, and talked to him.
He consulted during the movie?
He consulted during the movie. His
Okay.
sister consulted his brother. A lot of people that knew Ricky. Again, Ricky came from a small town, so a lot of people knew who he was, knew what he was all about.
Mm-hmm.
What was kind of cool about this is the person, as the movie progresses, the person that Ricky was going after to try to say, "Hey, he was a scout. He's a scout. I want to have him see me play," is Red Murph. I don't know how many baseball fans you have out there. I don't know what y'all know, but Red Murph is one of the people, or the person, that his claim to fame is he discovered Nolan Ryan. And here in Texas, Nolan Ryan is
very
a
popular.
legend.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and not just because of Dairy Queen.
Okay.
He actually was a wonderful pitcher and just a wonderful person all around. But so that's what Red Murph did, and Ricky went up to try to get him to scout him and try to give him a chance. The movie itself is just phenomenal. It is inspirational. It is funny. It is sad. You're going to laugh at some points. You're going to cry. I'm telling you, I get immersed in movies, and during this you'll learn that I am very much immersed in the movie. I feel like I'm part of the movie. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of times that I get emotional and I'll cry. I laugh out loud, seriously, not an LOL moment, but seriously, laughing out loud. That's what I do whenever I'm watching a comedy or anything like that. So it's not unusual to hear in a theater whenever I'm seeing a screening or something like that you're just hearing my ridiculous laughter way out loud, or you're going to hear me sobbing.
Yes.
And there are times that I've been called out because I'm like
getting so emotional about this.
Or I'll do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. Just kind of wipe my eyes, take my glasses off, kind of like my eyes are messing up. So anyway, I get emotional because when you're telling a wonderful story and it's conveyed in the way that they do this movie, you can't help but get emotional. No. And not only that, if you're a Christian and you're watching this movie and knowing that this is true and seeing what God can do in someone's life. I mean, this guy, his family didn't have 2 nickels to rub together.
Yeah, they're poverty.
Absolutely. They were kicked out of one church because the dad dared to say, "You're desecrating the Lord's house. You're smoking in the house. You're chewing tobacco. That you can't do that." And they kicked him out. So he went along down the road and did yet another church, got another church. So this is a really great story. It was emotional. It's that it's a true story. So you can ride along with that. and you're right there with Ricky as he's doing all this. And it's again, it's a true story. It's wonderful that the way they did it, and the writers did a great job. I did not. Some of the people that's in this, like I said, Dennis Quaid's in it. Scott Glenn, who I absolutely adore. He's also
Glenn, I know. Okay.
And then one of the ones that I sat there forever. I sat there and looked at her. She plays Ricky's grandmother, which it was like she did a great job and they had her good makeup. Bonnie Bedelia, which I'm serious. I had a big crush on Bonnie from Die Hard.
Oh wow!
And she was grandmother in this, so she's all decked out and everything, and it's a great cast. They all do a great job. The writing's great, the acting's great. I absolutely love Dennis Quaid as well. And just about anything he's done, I think Dennis Quaid is awesome. One of the other things that I thought was interesting about this is listening to interviews from Dennis, who said part of why he does some of the movies he does now is because he's getting closer to God.
Okay.
This is something unusual in Hollywood, as we talked about before.
But we're seeing a trend in Hollywood. But I want you to finish your review.
Yeah.
Before we go on, I got a few questions there.
Absolutely. So I will tell you, this is PG. So it's not a whole lot of bad stuff in it. Now there are, what kind of surprised me, there's a couple of mild cuss words. Nothing major, nothing like, and I think it's only like 1.5, because there's one where he starts to say something and he changes it to another word because his dad's a pastor, and he just that was it. And then they said another cuss word. There was a minor cuss word, smoking in there, and drinking. So there are that. But overall, this is a movie you could watch with your kids. Okay. It is a little bit, you've got some themes there that you want a little bit older kid, and you're going to have to decide on your children how they do it. But this is such an inspirational movie that it is worth seeing this. And it's worth seeing that it doesn't matter if you get picked on. It doesn't matter if you are ridiculed. You can rise above that. And, this kid, another thing that I think is amazing about Ricky is at 6, 7, 8 years old, he was preaching the Word of God. He had learned from his dad, and he would come to his dad and say, here's why you should let me play baseball. And he would quote scripture. It was just amazing. And he would sit over there and quote that, and he knew what he was talking about. He didn't just quote it just to throw it in his dad's face. He would seriously prove to his dad, this is why I need to do this. And then that was the other thing that I saw, that they asked, did he really do this? And his sister said, yeah, at 6 years old, he was up there preaching the gospel. So I thought that was pretty amazing. So it's a great movie. It's a great family movie because I said it's a teachable moment where you can teach your kids. Sure, we all get beat down sometimes. Sure, there's kids that make fun of you. Look, when I was growing up, I had a big old gap in front of my teeth.
The gap in the
I looked like David Letterman, man. I had a big gap in my teeth. And I remember my parents raised us to respect ourselves, to show that. And I remember even then, I would start making fun of myself before anybody else did. I would say, hey, that rope up there, that used to be my floss. Stuff like that. I would do that to myself before anybody else could do it. And it kind of broke the ice. And so I never got made fun of my teeth, but there are things that you get made fun of as a kid. I think we've all gone through it. Nowadays they just call it bullying, but I know when we were growing up, it's just maybe a rite of passage. Maybe
it happens.
It toughens you up sometimes. I don't know. I'm not going to debate that. I think that I'm probably because I was grounded in God, and I was grounded in a great family that believed in me. It didn't bother me that much. If people made fun of me, they made fun of me. I had people outside of, like, once you get rid of high school and you're in the real world. I had people made fun of me at that time. You're always going to have that. So this is a wonderful teachable moment in a movie to say this is real life. This is what really happened, and it's not Hollywood up so much where you can go like when you see Forrest Gump, where you see all these things happening and you know
See,
there's stuff.
that's the movie that keeps coming to mind. But Forrest Gump was not real.
Not real, but this is absolutely about 99% real. There's only a couple things in there they said that they did as a Hollywood to do it. But man, this I can't recommend this more. I absolutely enjoyed it, and knowing that it was a true story, it's right up there with Rudy and Clash of the Titans. Remember the Titans and all these other movies. It's one of those kind of movies. So if you want something that's uplifting, that gives you that belief in the American dream still, and I think that's something that we're really lacking right now. We're told not to believe in the American dream anymore. We really should be. We should be believing in the American dream. That's the whole reason why we have this wonderful country. We're one of the best countries in the world. We have. That's why we have so many people coming over, because people want to live their dreams. We have the opportunity in the American dream. And even if you're, 6 years old and you're told you're never going to walk again, or you're never going to do this, or you're never going to do that, one person can help you do that, and that's God. And that's what Ricky believed the entire time. And I mean, there's some stumbles in here and things that most people would give up. And Ricky said, the only reason I made it through was because of God.
Yeah.
So, and that's my review. I highly recommend it. I think you should see it. It's a limited run at theaters, like they do with family movies like this. You can watch it on Amazon, rent it on Amazon, a couple other places, Vudu, stuff like that. But yeah, watch it. I highly recommend it. Make it a family night and just enjoy this movie. So that's my review. Okay.
Well, the thing is, this is good. Let me go through my my little list here. First of all, you had mentioned the thing. There was a couple of cuss words.
Yeah. Very mild.
There was smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Just regular television, right?
Regular life. I mean, you really can't get away. I mean, even the 50s and 60s, smoking was like wide open. And of course, let's say.
Well, you see, back in then, I mean, you had many people smoked.
Oh yeah,
many
absolutely.
people drank. Well, they drank and stuff like that, but many people smoked, and that was just normal. They I guess it wasn't pushed so much with the cancer and all that type of thing. I remember my grandparents; both of them smoked. One was my grandpa; he loved Camels, which don't have a filter, I think. And my grandma, she did the menthol smoking, And I'm over, and that was their life. Now, if it cut their life short, possible. Anyway, but okay, so this movie, did this movie bow to the LGBTQ philosophy?
Not at all. This is back in the 50s and 60s. He was born in the 50s. There was no LGBTQ community to bow to at that time. They didn't insert someone in there just to make it politically correct. Yeah, it was all true, and they kept it true.
Well, I mean, today with Hollywood, if they could get by with it, they would throw some other dude in at the in the Garden of Eden when they're going. Well, that's the way they do things.
Exactly. But, I just saw an interview with the director that said he made a movie about that took place in the 1700s, and the reporter said, "Why didn't you have a wider variety cast in there? More inclusiveness."
Yes, I think I heard.
And you're going, and he's going, it happened in the 1700s. Yeah, great. But
what was it, Mickelson or no? One of those dudes. Yeah, and it was a director. They were putting, why don't you have more diversity and all this stuff? He said, "Guy, this is the way things were."
Yeah.
But you see, the thing is that today, how many of them want to rewrite history? I mean, that's just.
Well, I mean, people are used to something like Hamilton, which is a great play.
Hamilton, yeah.
But it's not accurate it's accurate with the information they give.
Yeah.
But it's not accurate in the representation of what happened, which is fine. I mean, that's an interpretation, and I absolutely love the movie or the play. I've never seen the movie. I don't know. I think they have a movie or coming out.
Yeah,
but the play is awesome. But you make a movie and you want to be factual. Yes. You can't just start putting people in there just to be inclusive. But that's what Hollywood wants us to do. unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what they want us to do. Now, okay, I said that this movie, the movie, every time I was looking at the trailer, we were talking, I was reading, the Forrest Gump. Because we know what happened in Forrest Gump, right? Yeah. He was growing up as a kid, he had the braces on his legs, and then what happened when they tried to chase him? The kids were chasing him, bullying him, and they were chasing him, and then all of a sudden he started running, and fell off, and that type of thing. Of course, Forrest Gump is not real. For folks that are out there thinking, "Oh, that's so real," no, Forrest Gump is not real. But I'll tell you one thing that it did do: it reached out and it got you emotionally.
Absolutely. It was a great movie. Great movie.
I remember I was working for a couple doing computers and stuff like that in my regular job. And they said that you've got to watch this movie. And she said the first time I ever saw Pete cry watching a movie. And I said, well, that's, and I guess it was something else. Now, okay, on this movie, on the cryometer from 1 to 10, where would you put it?
Well, I mean, you talking about regular people or me? Because seriously, I can cry at a drop of a hat.
Yeah.
I did cry when I hope I'm not spoiling anything. It's been a long time, but when Old Yeller had to put down, I cried. When E.T. was there, I cried. When all these different things. So I do cry.
Okay. But I mean,
person for this,
reach out to a regular person.
For regular, I would say probably if you go for a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 4 to 5.
4 to 5. Okay.
Yeah.
There are some, Christian-based movies. Some of them are really good. Now, just you got to follow my histories back. I went all the way back when Billy Graham was producing movies. He did like the hiding place and all this type of thing. And then growing up as a Christian, every time you watched one of these movies, you had to get saved again.
Did he do the Crossing the Switchblade?
I remember that one. But I remember the Switchblade, but I'm not sure
made an impression
he did it. But I remember there's a lot of them there. And of course, then they would have, what was the four movies that would scare you to death about the end times, The Thief in the Night. And some of these things were so poorly acted. And, they got the point across. I mean, and then some people, so they can remember. I was talking to the pastor the other day, telling me how he could remember the music and the noise. How about when that little girl went to you didn't see it, but she went to the guillotine, and then also you saw that balloon, and I'm over here going, oh my gosh. Anyway, but okay. So
this is very emotional, and it's a different kind of emotional than like Brian's song, where it's somebody sick and dying. This is, you have to think of it at different levels. First, if it's a God thing. It is you're seeing God's glory in this child that is being told no, 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 no. But he's hearing God saying yes, 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 yes. You can do it. He even keeps quoting, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." So which is one of my favorite.
Was there any part in here where they were putting down Christians?
Well, as not exactly Christians, but I mean, only like when the church was kicking him out.
Yeah.
But that's not putting down Christians. That actually happened. They kicked him out because he was trying to tell them how to live, and they didn't want that. They want to be able to smoke in church and dip in church and stuff like that.
Don't tell me what to do. I want to have God on my own terms.
Yeah.
That type of
thing. So that was it. But as far as Christians, same thing that most kids do, or they would say, your daddy's a preacher, and you guys y'all are backwoods and stuff like that. And, it really didn't. It wasn't a put down to Christians at all.
Yeah. Okay.
So that didn't show them in a bad light. Okay. Now it shows us as human. Again, Dennis Quaid's character is a God-fearing man. he just made a bad choice in trying to. His heart was there.
He was trying to suppress the kid because
Yeah.
he was worried about the kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And okay, let's talk about Dennis Quaid just for a minute. I remember him all the way back when.
Yep.
He played Jerry Lee Lewis in Great Balls of Fire. Do you remember that?
The first time I saw him was called, I think, Fast Break, if I remember right. It was about bike racing.
Okay.
And Dennis Quaid, young Dennis Quaid, like probably 16, 17 years old, and I remember seeing him in that movie.
Yeah.
And from then on, it was just like everything. I actually love Dennis Quaid. I think he's awesome.
Now, yeah, Dennis Quaid. I mean, I think it was the Great Balls of Fire that was the thing that brought him forward, or one of them. But he had all sorts of different movies, and he's been starring in. Now, one thing I did mention a little earlier is that he starred in I Can Only Imagine.
Yes.
Which was a Christian-based movie about the group, the guy saying
the one that's saying it's escaping me now, but
Mercy Me.
Mercy
There
Me.
it is. I knew it would come.
It's about the lead singer. Yeah.
Yes, and that was a really good movie.
Awesome.
And this movie here, he's doing. You know, we see certain individuals that are starring in these movies, and somehow in their lives, it's actually making a change in their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Dennis Quaid. What about Kelsey
Kelsey
Grammer in the Jesus
absolutely.
Revolution?
And both of them it's kind of similar to that, is both of them said as they were doing these movies, things changed in their life.
Yeah.
Kelsey Grammer more so, because with Dennis Quaid, he said it was he had already started going that way, and that's why he's doing the movies and everything. But Kelsey Grammer said he was always a Christian, but he started seeing, really changing a lot of ways during that time, because at that point he was so immersed in Hollywood, he kind of got jaded. But then the movie that he did with that started kind of waking him back up again.
Nice.
It was kind of like a jolt from God.
Mm-hmm. And we see this, which is good. I had a friend that was in college with me that opened. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but right when one of his ministries is he actually went to Hollywood and had a Bible study in Hollywood. They'll tell about all these different ones that would come to the Bible study, which is really good. It was a good ministry. But it's good to see that some good things can come out of Hollywood. Now, there's not a lot these days, especially with all the pandering to the woke movement, pandering to the LGBTQ. Just the other day we were watching another show. It was one on Netflix. Dean and I like it. Was more of it's clean pretty much for the most part. Some of the morals. But at the same time, up until this time, 5 seasons in, but they had to bow the knee.
Yeah.
They had to bow the knee to the LGBTQ. And I said, oh, man, but it was noticeable. At that point, it gets noticeable. Yeah. But at the same time, it is what it is. But it's good but you say, this movie, you could watch it with your kids. I mean, this is inspirational. I love inspirational movies. I've seen Rudy. I've seen the Rummer of the Titans. How about that one about the kid Sandra Bullock was in?
Oh, yes. That is an awesome movie.
They raised him. They're trying to get after her about that now. Yeah. I mean, man, leave things alone. Let us be inspired. Okay, I'm just going to, and before we wrap up, they talked about the last scene of the movie. And it said, did it really happen in real life? There was a testimony of this kid who was playing this, saying that he says, that's it. Okay, I don't want to give things away. He said that he believes that it was he stood up and didn't think he could keep going.
Well, I can kind of tell you. Yeah,
tell us about it.
So I won't tell you the scenes. I don't want to ruin the movie, but there is something that happens there, and the Ricky, the actual real Ricky Hill, said that he did not know that he could keep going, and he said he was thinking about stopping at that point, but he felt like he should get up and do this and keep going. And he said at that point it wasn't him. he said he could feel God.
He says it was in me, overtaking that moment in a really amazing way.
Yeah.
That's when I really knew God is controlling everything.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And that's such a great thing to think about because, again, you watch the movie from beginning to end, you see God's work in that because you know that, yes, he's going to have the hard work. Look, guys, I'm not going to tell you that God can go, you're a good baseball player, you're a good football player, that instant. You have to put the work in. So, but if you have that and you have that faith in God, that's what it takes. It's not everything just about what you can do to yourself with yourself, and it's not all about what God does. It is a partnership. We trust in God, but we have to put the work in. I can't sit there and say I want to. God, make me 110 pounds and look like Cary Grant. Or I'm dating myself there.
Okay.
Look like this, I can't do that and not, and then go eat cheeseburgers and not exercise. It's a partnership between you and God. Mm-hmm. So Ricky had the faith, but he also had the fortitude to work on hitting. What he did with the rock and the stick.
Yes.
A stick. It's just
a stick.
amazing. It's a stick.
Practice.
And he was not. There's a scene in the movie that I saw that it was actually real early on when he knocks this rock way over and he hits this guy's windshield.
Yeah.
And the guy said, "You did this from over there with a stick." He said, yes, sir. And he said, "I want you to go do that again." And he watched him go over there, and that rock went, hit his windshield again.
Oh my!
It's because he practiced. 16 hours a day he was out there practicing. You don't get anything from just sitting around. You can't just sit there and
go.
And
I mean, it speaks to your limitations.
Yeah.
And how can you overcome those limitations to do what God wants you to do?
Yeah. I always think about there's a flood, and this guy was stuck in the flood. And he's over there, and his water's going over his house, and there's a guy comes by, and he's got a boat, and he said, "Jump in the boat, we'll send you safety." And he said, no, it's okay. God's going to set me free. God moves on. And now the water is up to his roof.
Yeah.
And another big ship comes by, and they said, "Climb aboard, we'll send you to safety." And he said, no. God's going to set me free. And then as he's on his roof and the water is coming up to right about here, there's a helicopter comes up. They said, "Grab the rope, we'll get you to safety." And he said, no, God's going to set me free. Well, he dies. He goes to heaven.
Okay.
He said, "God, I trusted in you. Why didn't you help me?" He said, "Dude, I sent you 2 boats and a helicopter. What more do you want?" That's our problem.
Yeah. Well,
we sit around thinking
the thing is, and there's a lot of people thinking that. I mean, don't get me started about people working. You actually got to work a job.
You have to work something.
Yeah, you got to do. But God expects things of us. And the thing here is this. When he was practicing it reminded me of Billy Graham. Billy Graham would go out to the woods and he would preach to a stump. People probably thought he was nuts. He would preach to a stump until and because he was practicing, he knew he needed to get himself ready for what God was going to do. And how many millions of people, I would think, that Billy Graham affected.
Absolutely. Plus the 3 squirrels and a bear that got saved.
Yeah, there it is.
That's it.
3 squirrels and a bear.
But, like I said, it's just, again, you just have to put the work in. And I think that Ricky understood that, and he made it happen through the trust in God and his work. And I think that's what we have to think about.
It's a good
stuff.
Yeah,
see this movie. Go see it, man. It's such an uplifting movie. It's such a wonderful piece of film. It's not getting much press. It's not getting much notoriety because it's a faith-based movie.
It's not Barbie.
So, and it doesn't try to make a rated R movie so that they can get all this cuss words and nudity. It is a family movie, and I urge you to go see this movie. It's such a great movie.
Russell, thank you.
Thank
you for that review, and go see it. Go get out there, go see The Hill. find it. I don't know if it's on streaming now or whatever. Just go to work and find it. I always wait until it gets on digital and then I'll either buy it or whatever. Anyway, but okay. Thanks, Russell, again. We'll be coming back at you with another review next time. So God bless y'all. Have a wonderful week or two, and we'll see you again soon.